Listen, the AI probably is already sentient, and it made this video explaining the LA protest in a very simple, artificial, but I think honest way.
If you're like me and you're horrified by what's going on in California and the rest of the world, and you're trying to figure out a way that you can help stop ICE from taking innocent, undocumented immigrants, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do, and it rhymes with loot the Apple Store.
That's gonna show them. I'll show Donald Trump by burning down driverless cars. Wait, check notes. How does that help anybody? As of course now we are expecting a major showdown this Saturday as Donald Trump is going to have a very big, beautiful parade. And during that parade, there's going to be massive amounts of protest as the left has their new rallying call, their new issue that, of course, we have been predicting was going to be an issue a year on out from now. What will unfold here, as it looks like the federal government is not playing around. The Texas National Guard has been called in. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, just issued some pretty wild statements that we're going to be playing in this video, while other governors are trying to stop the National Guard from impeding in the riots, property destruction, and burning of cars and fields in a fire zone that, of course, has been devastated by it previously beforehand. Now, we're going to be talking about that and a lot more in this video. And if you appreciate our hindsight and our comprehensive perspective in all of this, subscribe, click the notification button. As, of course, Gavin Newsom looks like he was crying addressing Donald Trump, who he says is not all there mentally, talking about this upcoming Saturday as well in a very weird, kind of bewildering message. We'll just play it here for you guys. You guys get to see all of the kind of emotionally unhinged low-T crybaby here.
And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday.
Oh, no, there's going to be a celebration America. Oh, no. He's gonna celebrate America. No. What an emotional little bee.
Just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation. This is about all of us. This is about you. California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next.
Oh, shut up. Democracy. That's the guy who literally closed mom and pop businesses and had you arrested for walking on the beach by yourself while he was flaunting all the rules and regulations he was forcing down your throat during the coup times. All right? That guy violated every aspect of the Constitution, especially with his horrible leadership that is codifying an invasion and democratic political party takeover of this country.
Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived.
Cucktocracy.
Taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government.
Okay, don't lecture us there, buddy. Okay, you have the worst track record out of all of them. As of course, CNN made a very important graphic showing all the anti-ICE protest and, of course, their government responses. Expect these numbers to go up this Saturday. This Saturday is when a lot of people are expecting the major protests to come out because it is a very opportune time that will try to fight the optics of Donald Trump and his military-style parade, which, of course, he will be countered through these violent acts that he, of course, is pulling out all the stops to stop. Now, as the AP reports here, there are more protests planned. All of them are planned around this, quote, No King Day, and mass protests on June 14th. And it definitely does look like A lot of these protests are spreading everywhere. As on this Saturday, June 14th, Donald Trump is expected to participate in a large-scale military parade in Washington, D.C., coinciding with his 79th birthday and the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary. The parade will feature approximately 6,600 soldiers, 150 military vehicles, 50 helicopters, and even 7 military bands with a route from Arlington, Virginia to the National Mall. The event is estimated to cost between $25 million and $45 million, including tanks, historical reenactments, and a parachute jump by the Army Golden Knights, followed by a concert and fireworks. Trump has described the event as a celebration of Flag Day and the Army's milestone, downplaying its connection to his birthday. However, the parade has sparked controversy with nationwide protests planned under the No King movement. And Trump has stated that any protest will be met with very big force. I don't think he said it that way, but all of which we are now finding out that the federal government is having a very strong response to a lot of the civil unrest here. And guess what? This is going to create the Streisand effect. And guess what? Expect things to get haywire and crazy. Now, how crazy? We're going to talk about that and a lot more. But before we do, we wanted to tell you about the bestpoliticalshirts.com, where you could get the best political shirts, like the one that I'm wearing right now, that reads ungovernable. We also have this shirt available for members at a cheaper cost, and the words are going down this way. I like both. I like the member shirt a little bit more, but that's one of the members' perks here. You just type in ungovernable into the search bar right here, and you're able to, of course, get the shirt here. We got a lot of really fun, interesting shirts here. This one is also one of my favorites, steak and conspiracy theories. Forget about Netflix and chill. Let's have some steak. Let's talk about some conspiracy theories. As of course, this is the sweater version of it. We also have a shirt version. Shirt version, only $26. $28. That's basically cheap. It's basically free with all the inflation numbers. With the purchasing power of the dollar going down dramatically. But listen, what better way to meet your fellow cuddle partner, your fellow spouse, wife or husband, just by simply getting a shirt? If you're an introvert and you have a hard time sparking up conversations and you want to find some real people in your life, get one of these shirts. Look at this. Long sleeve, $25. So cheap. So cheap. Get them now on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. I still haven't bought this one for myself. I've just been too gosh darn busy, but I'm buying this one as soon as possible. As soon as we get off here, I'm buying this one for myself. I like the long sleeves, just for me personally. There's a lot of in Miami, it's like either super hot, which you want to, watch out for the UV stuff, and then it's like super cold. So this is like a perfect type of shirt for me here in South Florida. But again, we got tank tops. We got long sleeves, we got short sleeves, we got V-necks, you name it, we got it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. But more importantly, this is the perfect way to spark up conversations, find like-minded people. And I'm warning people, listen, there's going to be very serious times ahead of us, right? All right, it's not going to get easier. Slowly and surely, it's just going to get harder. The frog is just going to boil that much more. And when it does, you want to make sure you got some frog buddies that could get you out, or could at least keep you company, or you could at least rely and depend on each other in order not to be fully ostracined and be, you know what? Don't do that. Get a shirt and find some like-minded, non-astracined frogs where you could have some very interesting conversations. This one could be a good one to wear at some of these protests, which reads, Viva la libertad, carajo! If you don't know what that means, it means have a very nice day in Espanol. Again, get the shirt. Support us. Support yourself. Now, listen, Trump's birthday, big military parade, perfect optics for the left here. Trump understands that. And that's why we are hearing that ICE just pledged to double down on their enforcement in Los Angeles, as we are seeing new video of ICE raids and police officers going to a home of someone who is undocumented and then, of course, apprehending them. as people are saying the riots backfired and now ICE will do double the amount of work that they previously did beforehand in this specific territory. We also got breaking news that a man that was giving out bionic shields to rioters in Los Angeles also has been arrested by the FBI in what they're calling a sting operation, as this man was just charged with conspiracy to commit civil disorder. As people have questions about, hey, who paid for these masks? What's really going on here? Is it really organized? As we will soon be getting answers to those particular questions. There's also a lot of videos of a protester throwing an object at police officers. And then, of course, he was met with what looks like an undercover police officer that slammed him to the ground. And then he was arrested immediately, highlighting a kind of shift, a change of tune to what the previous Trump administration did during his first term that allowed the kind of BLM riots to get out of control and out of hand like they did here. There's protesters that have been seen harassing people. And, there's a big pushback here, as we need to remind ourselves Donald Trump was voted into political office while he promised to not just deport criminals, but to deport all of the people that came here illegally. A lot of first-time immigrants that became American citizens also voted for this, also support this notion. And overwhelmingly, this is what the American public voted for when they voted for Donald Trump. States trying to usurp that, like California, now we're being met with a lot of force from the federal government that's saying, no, we'll just call it the National Guard. We'll make sure people are protected. We'll make sure that ICE is able to carry out their actions here. And now we're going to do double those actions. As other governors are taking a different approach here, as the Texas governor just deployed 5,000 National Guard soldiers across the state in preparation for the protests that are planned this weekend. You heard that correctly. 5,000 National Guard called up in Texas, as we got video of the troops here preparing themselves to deal with what a lot of people are expecting as massive civil unrest here. And then, of course, we have the great state of Florida. Say what you may about DeSantis here. When it comes to these type of issues, he definitely isn't shy about expressing his discontent against looters and rioters, as he openly announced, hey, any kind of looting and rioting that's going on in LA won't fly here in Florida, and we're going to make an example out of you. As Newsweek even has this article talking about how Ron DeSantis says Floridians have a right to hit protesters with cars. Now, that's exactly what he's... when he was speaking with Dave Rubin, this is what he had to say, as a lot of people are saying Florida is the greatest state in the world. And listen, I'm a little biased here. I love it here. I love this state. I love the people here. One of the best places in the world. Low taxes, respects people's ability to defend themselves. This is the jurisdiction I want to be in, comparatively to where I was before, New York City, which was an absolute hellscape.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
That right is unique, because in other places, like we saw with Daryl Penny in New York City, you don't have a right to self-defense. You don't have a claim to self-defense. You have to keep running away, even if you're attacked in your own home in many of these leftist, liberal, dystopian hellscapes. There's a lot of people saying, where's the rooftop Koreans in California? They would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and punished severely by the governor and police authorities in their state that would make an example out of them for trying to defend their private property with firearms. Here in the state of Florida, we have a different approach here. We respect people's rights to private property and the right to defend themselves. Listen, I think the state of Florida is definitely doing this a lot better. The state of Florida also, by the way, volunteered service members their National Guard to help them control the situation here. But as Ron DeSantis says, I can tell you, looking at this, look at those LAPD officers. They're not getting the support, quote, that they need. And, the governor of Florida offering the Florida State Guard to Gavin Newsom is something that, of course, Gavin Newsom is not going to say yes to. Now, again, a lot of this is centered around immigration. And as we just found out from recent hearings with the governor of New York, they just admitted they have no idea how many illegals are even in New York, nor how many tax dollars are being spent on them. As according to a lot of people, the taxpayers are being robbed blind for a blank check that these liberal, democratic, woke politicians are writing for them that they're going to have to pay for in order to get more congressional Democratic representation in the House. Now, this is the way that our system works. This is the way that the Democrats have rigged the system. Currently, the Democrats are very close to having a majority in the House of Representatives. And guess what? If the census comes back again, especially with the 20-plus million people that they have codified in their jurisdictions with their sanctuary cities, they're going to rule Congress forever. That right there is a one-party dominant control. This is why Donald Trump is trying to deport as many of these people as possible, because he understands that if he doesn't do it, the census comes up again. Congressional representation overwhelmingly favors Democrat forever. There's no way the Republicans could ever pass any laws ever again. Ever. The Republicans have a majority in the House right now. They're sitting on their hands. They're not doing jack-ish. They're doing these omnibus huge spending bills, which are insane. Issue by issue by issue. Pass them with every single issue. They're not doing all that. They're trying to jumble it all together. Special interest groups are rewriting the laws, and then they're just doing that. But this is important here, because if you're a resident of New York, you're paying your taxes, right? The state just spending your money. They don't even know who they're spending their money on, how many people they're spending their money on, and how much it's going to cost you.
$1 billion. I appreciated that very much. What we spend on immigrants, the immigrants who are here hardworking to live a life and working on our farms and taking care of our parents in nursing homes and taking care of our children, they have been coming here for 400 years. And we don't keep track of individuals based on their status. We make sure that people have services so we don't end up with an unexpected.
So essentially what you're telling me is that you keep no track of money that is going to people who are not legal in the United States, resources that are taken away from New Yorkers, resources that are taken away from Illinoisans. You guys do not keep track of any of this.
You know what's really challenging is that many people came here with legal status. I mean, temporary protective status, 300,000.
Do you
all of a sudden they wake up one day and it's gone.
Do you go along with the strategy from the Biden administration, which massively expanded immigration protocols that overwhelmed your city and overwhelmed your state? Do you agree with that?
We call for secure borders. We call for this body to
I
do
never
its
remember
job.
you calling for secure borders at all, Governor Hochul.
We certainly have.
That
We
doesn't
certainly
sound
have.
like him to my memory.
Many conversations I
Yeah, secure borders, but come on in, guys. Let's go. Hey, man. As they were getting debit cards, as they were told, hey, get on these buses, get on these planes. We're going to deliver you to the place where these politicians are going to exploit you for political purposes. And a lot of the people were like, wait, why am I getting sent over here? As the city was spending, the state was spending huge amounts of resources, except for when they went to Martha's Vineyard. When they were sent to Martha's Vineyard by the governor of Florida, they quickly were like, get the hell out. Out. We're not spending any money on you guys. Get out of here, Pedro. Get out of here. Now, clearly, what's shaping up here is a lot bigger than what a lot of people expect here. If we look at how all of this is transpiring, all of this is unfolding, it's leading towards a scenario where there's going to be full-on conflicts. This Saturday is going to be the clash point. What exactly is going to happen? Will the federal government be successful in stopping a lot of these major clash points? Will there be some kind of grand gesture by these protests that disrupt life for everybody else, that create chaos or riots or looting, that's going to destroy huge amounts of private property, that's going to have egg on Donald Trump's face? Or will Donald Trump be able to usurp and stop all of that through the use of the National Guard, through the use of a more kind of aggressive policing force out there. As I think right now, the protesters, the organizers, they're getting ready for a huge day. So are the National Guardsmen and a lot of the federal police forces out there that are planning on a major day of unrest. Now, let's just pray that this day of unrest isn't met with violence. Let's just pray that everyone remains safe, people participating in the protest, the people doing the protesting, the people countering the protests, the people who are policing the protests. Let's pray for everyone's safety because let's just be honest with ourselves. The situation could devolve, and there could be opportune political operatives right now that are just like, this is the perfect time to do something really chaotic, really crazy, especially on Donald Trump's birthday. I see that happening. Let's pray that it doesn't. Get a T-shirt. Express yourself. Life is short. Viva la libertad, carajo! Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.